90.
2nd and 4. Spencer Tillman picks up a couple of yards. We mentioned Moon was actually traded, salary cap-induced trade to Minnesota for a couple of draft picks. Salisbury was one of the many free agents who just opted to go elsewhere.
I think Moon went for a 4th-round draft pick and a 3rd round in 95, something like that.
Conditional. Yeah. Bucky Richardson is the 3rd quarterback, and we figure to see him before this night is done. They would like Salisbury to win the number 2 job, even though Richardson has more experience with the run and shoot. That's why they want to get Salisbury as much experience the rest of preseason as they can with this offense. And the pass goes through the hands of Keith Jack, who until now has looked real good in preseason, a rookie from the University of Houston.
Salisbury had something on that. A tough one to handle for Jack.
3 and out. Punting unit comes in. Kevin Williams back to accept the kick. And Rich Camarillo, another of the new Oilers. Montgomery chose to leave, and Camarillo comes over from the Cardinals to become the new Oiler punter.
And like we talked about, a receiver having an advantage on this kind of a field, the return man can make a big thing happen on a sloppy track.
Low snap, but he gets it off, and Williams was having a tough time slogging over to the kick, which lands at the 37 and is down there. Here's a reminder that tomorrow on ABC, a night of laughs, as the fun will begin with Full House and continue with the premiere of She TV, comedy strong enough for a man but made for a woman, tomorrow right here on ABC. And then on a Wednesday, Ed Asner kicks off the night with Thunder Alley, followed by Phenom, and then Home Improvement, Grace Under Fire, and Turning Point, the great Wednesday night lineup here on ABC. Rodney Peete gives the ball to Lincoln Coleman to the 42-yard line for a gain of about 4.
Coleman getting a long look-see tonight. Not happy with the way he came into training camp with his early preseason performance. He's done better tonight. But as Dan mentioned, with Derek Lassick injured and unavailable for they don't know how long, if anything should happen to the number 1 man, Emmitt Smith, who was held out tonight, well, they'll go looking for another running back.
2nd and 5. And it's Coleman again. Well, it's been pretty copacetic in the Cowboy camp. The uproar, of course, in the spring when Jones and Johnson parted ways and Switzer came in. It's kind of quiet right now, but boy, will that spotlight be turned on September 4th when Dallas plays at Pittsburgh.
You know, even if they go on to win a 3rd consecutive Super Bowl, never been done before, I mean, who's going to get the credit for it? Is it going to be Jerry Jones or Barry Switzer? What a tough spot Barry has got himself into.
Cowboy coaches, Jim Eddy, the man in the middle, working with their defensive unit, used to be the defensive coordinator with the Oilers. And moving his way through the middle again is Lincoln Coleman. Barry Switzer is he's in great shape and is a very, what I'd call sprightly 56, but they're the coaches who debuted at his age or older. Bud Wilkinson, and Dan played for him, came in 78. He was 9-20. Jerry Burns took over the Vikings, and he was the only one of those 5 who really had a good deal of success. Carson with Cleveland, and then Russ and McPherson, each with New England. But Jerry Burns is the only guy who was able to start that late and keep it going for a while and have what you consider a good deal of success. Rodney Peete off the play fake, slips, and down he goes, thanks to the field, and Lathan will get credit for an easy sack. Dan, what was it like when Bud Wilkinson came in at that age and you were playing with the Cardinals?
Well, it's interesting that the 2 great coaches in Oklahoma history both were out of the game for a while. Now, Bud much longer than Barry. Bud was out of the game of football for 16 years. And when he came into St. Louis, it was noticeable. I'm not sure Bud should have ever done it. Once you're out of it for that long of a period of time, it's tough to come back in. And obviously, he did not inherit a football team anywhere near as talented as what Barry Switzer had here in Dallas. The other thing Bud Wilkinson had to do was formulate his own staff. That's the biggest thing Barry's got going for him, is it falling right into a really, really good staff.
2nd and 18, and it's Lincoln Coleman picking up about 15 of those 18.
I don't know that any coach has ever, and Frank, you mentioned that, you know, Barry's really got himself into something. Well, you know, a lot of people would love to be where he is right now. It's not often you get an opportunity to coach a football team that has the talent of the Dallas Cowboys. It's a chance of a lifetime. You're right. It's fraught with peril, but you know what? It's the kind of thing coaches live for.
And he seems to be enjoying it 100%.
If you're a coach and it's what you love to do, if you wouldn't want to coach the Dallas Cowboys, there's something wrong with you.
3rd down and a long 4 from the 45-yard line, and throwing into a lot of traffic. He tried to jam it into Willie Jackson, but the coverage was there. And Rodney Peete's drive comes to a halt here. Brett Farnes, the former Ram, knocks it away.
Good look from the end zone. And the outstretched arm of Farnes to deflect the ball.
Mike Teeter also got a piece of it, too.
Fingertip on it.
So Jet comes in to punt to try to pin the Oilers deep. Gorgeous shot of Azteca Stadium. 9:44 to go in the 3rd. And it is fair caught at the 5-yard line.
Ooh, what a great punt.
Not a propitious fair catch call by Gibson there. Houston starts deep in its own territory.
A new wind is rising, bringing change, bringing the all-new Ford Windstar, a totally new minivan. Windstar is the only minivan that combines standard dual airbags, 5-mile-an-hour bumpers, and 4-wheel anti-lock brakes. Plus, it meets all passenger car safety standards. It's safety that takes the minivan in a whole new direction. The all-new front-wheel drive Ford Windstar. The future of minivans begins today.
Before you try an ice brewed beer,
Give me an ice.
remember, all ice beers start cold, but most are heat pasteurized. Not cool. So get real cold.
Bud Ice.
Bud Ice, it's ice brewed and cold filtered to start cold and stay cold.
Give me an ice.
Ask for icy smooth Bud Ice. And new 96-calorie Bud Ice Light.
Well, the commissioner, Paul Tagliabue, has made his way up here, and we mentioned that you were supposed to be with us at the half, but we don't blame you for having trouble getting up here. 112,000 has got to be a great night for you in the NFL, obviously.
Well, I feel like I had to walk past about 75,000 of them to get up here. It's a little bit like Super Bowl Sunday, so I apologize.
They're talking franchise for Mexico City. Your thoughts on that, Commissioner?
Well, I think it's becoming a realistic prospect. We knew that there was a tremendous amount of interest in NFL down here. Of course, the Cowboys have driven a lot of it going back to the 70s and through the 80s and now in the 90s. But with what's developing in relations between our two countries and what we see here this week and where we're headed on television here in Mexico, I think it's becoming a prospect on the horizon.
Whether or not it ends up being a franchise or not, in the near future, safe to say the American Bowl will be back here.
Safe to say the American Bowl will be back here. We're already picking the teams downstairs, having a little guessing game.
Can we cast our vote real quickly for us coming back?
Yes, you can.
We'd like to get that in there.
Oh, this is, we mentioned that it's almost like an Olympics or a Super Bowl atmosphere in the way the crowd is responding to everything that's happening. It's taken us by surprise.
As they did on pass interference just there.
Right.
Well, it really, there are only words like extraordinary that you can use to describe it. Unprecedented, extraudinary, and the superlative.
And I think we'd be remiss if we didn't congratulate the people behind us. They put so much effort into it. It's been a year in the making it for that happen. It's just been incredible.
Well, we've had tremendous partners here in Mexico enabling us to do this, and our people and their people have really been working together very, very closely with a lot of creativity, a lot of imagination, and I think we brought together the best of the two nations on one football field.
Spectacular night, really is.
If you were to think further internationally, where might you be thinking, Commissioner?
Well, we'll continue to play games in Europe as we develop the World League over there. Eventually, we may phase out the American Bowl NFL games as the World League takes its own routes. in Asia. I was over there last week in Tokyo, and we're going to look at where we might play elsewhere in Japan, maybe Hong Kong. So this year in 4 games, we've had over 250,000 fans in 4 cities, Berlin, Barcelona, Tokyo, and now here in Mexico City. So we're ready to move on to the next one. But of course, it kicks off here in the States on September 4th, and that's pretty important also.
Well, I know that it's preseason, and you still haven't really evaluated all that's really happened in terms of the rule changes, but what's your initial reaction to some of the things that have been put in?
Well, my initial reaction is that the coaches who really developed these changes had a lot of foresight. It was Marty Schottenheimer, Don Shula, people like that. Tom Flores won the competition committee, Dennis Green, Bill Carr, and others. And I think they struck a real good balance between offense and defense. The kickoff, I think they could see what's happened. We have the game back to where it should be. The kickoff's not supposed to be a dead ball play. It's supposed to get the ball in play, and now we're seeing that. And the defense, I think the chucking rules, roughing the passer, it's going to help a lot with those zones that everyone complained about. So I think it's going to work. And I think the coaches get the credit because they came up with the prescription.
That seems to be the feeling amongst the fans as well. Commissioner, great to see you. Congratulations on a big night.
Thank you, and thanks for being here.
Great night.
Great night.
Thanks for being with us.
Thank you.
Oilers have moved from the shadow of their end zone out to midfield thanks to an interference call, a pass to Tillman. Dave Thomas makes was the man who interfered on the earlier play while we were speaking with the commissioner that enabled Houston to move up the field. And right now they have put the ball into Dallas territory with 7:35 remaining in the third quarter, and 6-0 the Oilers on top. 2nd down and 5. It's John Henry Mills in motion, number 48. And Salisbury's pass is too high. He can gun it, but too high that time and too hard for Travis Hanna. Let's go back and take a look at that interference call on the pass intended for Sebring.
Dave Thomas, number 41, is the one who draws the call. Seaborn was back there.
I can only assume that Thomas was raising his hands and saying to himself, why did I do that, instead of, I can't believe I was called for that. That was pretty obvious.
That cost him 29 yards. 3rd down and 6. 7:18 to go in the third. Oilers on top, 6-0. Salisbury staying in the pocket. And then the secondary did a great job as Sean had a lot of time and then simply ran out of time. Sooner or later, Herman McCormick, a rookie from Indiana, with a sack.
You touched on something earlier, Al, that Salisbury has not played out of this run and shoot offense. You think back to Warren Moon, we've covered him so many times, and of course Cody Carlson, they are used to it. You look one receiver, if he's not there, you look another, and then you fire to one. And that time Cody kind of got caught up in what was going on defensively, and he just had no place to put it.
Salisbury looking a little gimpy as he headed toward the Oilers sideline.
It'll take a little work to get into it.
Rich Camarillo lucky to get the kick away, and it's a poor kick that just dies on the sod at the 22-yard line. So Salisbury trying to shake it off, and Dallas trying to get something going. 6-0 Oilers.
My sister and I, we are nothing alike. I think you were switched at birth. I mean, she likes Chili's tender chicken fajitas topped with guacamole and sour cream. She prefers Chili's sizzling beef fajitas topped with pico de gallo and shredded cheese. So as you can see, we've got nothing in common. But of course, that's pretty obvious.
Hi.
Hi. You see, guys find me irresistible. He was looking at me. Why would he be looking at you when he could be looking at me? Well, look at you and look at me. He was looking at me.
Roden Track says the latest and best Mustang hits the ground running. Auto Week says the all-new interior is nothing short of a design triumph. Motor Trend says its first-class styling, dynamics, and performance make it the most significant new American car this year. The all-new Ford Mustang. It is what it was, and more.
For years, the producers of Coach have brought you great comedy characters. Now the Coach Gang brings a new cast of characters to a smart new comedy, Blue Skies, coming this fall on ABC.
The canal scenes here in Mexico City, and those canals form the last remains of a huge lake that used to surround what is now Mexico City. Kids out on the boats having a great time.
We might point out we have done none of this.
Tommy O'Connell. Drew DeRosa, Jack Savoy, the three amigos.
They somehow acquired our hats. Yes. Or our sombreros, I guess. To be more correct.
Of all people to have on the sombreros, it would be those three.
Here's Dallas at the 22-yard line. First and 10. They're down 6-0. Rodney Peete turns and gives the ball to Mark Mason, a rookie from Maryland, trying to win a job with Emmitt Smith not playing tonight. Coleman has seen all of the action to this point. And now Mark Mason trying to win a job.
Free agent out of Maryland. Got a few marks there. Over 600 yards rushing a year ago. 5'7", 189 pounders. It'll be making this ball club, but who knows? He looks well and plays outstanding, and somebody else may be watching.
Second down, 7. Mark tackle made up at the 30 after Tony Richardson makes the catch. And it's Darren Wortham, a rookie from the University of Texas El Paso with the hit.
One of the experiments Houston Oilers are going with, and maybe it's not an experiment anymore, is moving Lamar Latham, a very speedy athletic linebacker, to defensive end. Of course, they lost Sean Jones and William Fuller, who accounted for 23 sacks a year ago, and they need to improve their pass rush, and they're trying Latham at defensive end.
3rd and 2. Dallas from the 30-yard line. And they do not pick up the first as Mark Mason stopped in his track. Blaine Bishop comes up from his safety spot to hammer him. 3 and out. Go the Cowboys.
Now that's what you call a little run support by your safety when he's making a tackle in the backfield. That's the way to get up there in a hurry. But you wonder how much different is it for the Dallas offense if that guy is out on the field.
Bishop might have been dancing more of a polka.
He is not just a great running back. He is one of the finest people ever to walk on a field in the NFL. Quality, quality, quality.
Lee Gessendaner back to receive the kick, calls for a fair catch off the jet boot, takes it at the 30-yard line, a 41-yard kick. E. Smith, just a spectator tonight. It'll be a whole other story on September 4th. 4:41 to go in the 3rd.
What is it about Ford Taurus that makes it America's best-selling car? Is it the number of ways it finds to protect you and your passengers? Its confident feel on the road? Or the fact that we improved it over 50 ways to make it the best Taurus ever? Whatever the reasons, you've made Ford Taurus the best-selling car in America. Again.
Some people were born to live the Western life.
All right, then, let's kill some people.
These people...
I couldn't. I'm anti-handgun.
...were born to leave it. John Candy, Richard Lewis, Wagons East. Rated PG-13. Starts Friday, August 26th.
Athlete's foot is a predator. To cure it all, you've got to kill it all. Introducing Lotramin AF spray and powder. Full prescription strength medicine that kills all causes of athlete's foot. New forms, same killer results. Lotramin AF, the killer cure.
The world's top male gymnasts compete for all-around honors at the Hilton Gymnastics Challenge. Plus the Travers Stakes live Saturday on ABC's Wide World of Sports.
Mexican version of what would be Pop Warner football. They love to play, and as you can see, one team looking like the Dolphins and the other looking like the Los Angeles Raiders.
Playing on a much more stable field than we are here.
Parents like the parents everywhere.
The game of American football really starting to grow down here in Mexico.
Yep. Chad Hennings. Some of the Cowboys going for that oxygen in this 7,349-foot high altitude. From the 30-yard line, the Oilers have it. 4:41 to go in the third. They lead 6-0. Salisbury dumps it over the middle. Spencer Tillman. For the sake of the crowd, I just hope they get to see one touchdown tonight. 112,000 looking on, and 2 field goals providing all of the scoring.
And they'll be sorely disappointed if that touchdown isn't scored by the Dallas Cowboys. Again, if you weren't with us early, this crowd here is very much pro-Dallas. The country of Mexico is virtually owned in its sporting allegiance to the NFL by the Dallas Cowboys.
Second down and 8 at the 32. Tip and complete. It was Todrick McIntosh, a rookie out of Florida State, national championship team there. The tip.
You know, Salisbury just doesn't have that rhythm that the run and shoot has to have. And granted, it's a sloppy field, but the run and shoot is really a 1, 2, 3, 4 look fire. And he's so used to dropping back and out of the regular formations and looking over the field, finding the receiver. That's not what the run and shoot is all about. And that's why he's in there getting the extra work tonight.
Kevin Gilbride, he's the guy that talks to the quarterback. The Dallas Cowboys, by the way, aren't going to utilize the coach to quarterback speaker system. Too troublesome.
Third down and 8. And Salisbury under pressure was hit as he threw, and it's incomplete. Fourth down. 3:51 remaining now in the third quarter. 6-0. One thing about this crowd, they are used to seeing zeros up on the scoreboard because they play a lot of soccer in the stadium. Emmett, look at Emmett. I don't know if this is part of the NAFTA agreement or what, but he's wearing an Oilers cap.
It's the preseason.
Yeah.
A lot of regular season rules are suspended.
Because during the regular season, if you broke those rules, you'd get suspended. At the 18-yard line, Kevin Williams takes the Camarillo kick and stepped out of bounds up at about 27. And this just in, a big trade.
Oh, good. Get yourself out of this one.
August Fools. It's April Fool's Day in Mexico City.
Before you order an ice brewed beer,
ice me.
Remember, all ice beers start cold. But most are heat pasteurized. Not cool. So ask for...
But ice.
It's ice brewed and cold filtered, so it starts cold and stays cold.
You got any ice?
Get real cold with icy smooth Bud Ice and new 96-calorie Bud Ice Light.
It's the only truck to have ever bowled 300. And the only truck to catch a world's record trout. Now, Ford Ranger is the only truck ranked by J.D. Power and Associates as best compact pickup in initial quality, foreign or domestic. Ford Ranger. What else would you expect from the only truck to make a hole-in-one?
Hey, dads, coming to ABC, catch a night of movie runs that'll be a hit with your kids, and you'll love watching, too. The ABC Family Movie starting Saturday, September 10th.
Some obvious audio problem on the field as Lynn Swan was attempting to speak with the ambassador to Mexico. Trying to get him back in a second here if we can, as the Dallas Cowboys have it at the 26-yard line. 3:40 remaining in the third quarter, and Houston on top by a score of 6-0 as Tony Richardson is the ball carrier over the right side. He picks up about 4 yards.
You can tell by the number of white shirts that the Cowboys have begun to substitute pretty liberally with their offensive football team. Rodney Peete has been in there a while, but a lot of new offensive linemen and running backs have joined the Cowboy huddle. They haven't looked that good since warm-ups.
2nd and 5 at the 31-yard line. Mark Mason, the Maryland rookie, to the 36. Okay, we've got our audio glitch taken care of. Here's Lynn.
Thank you very much, Al. Mr. Ambassador, we were talking about whether or not you were surprised by the turnout by the Mexican fans to American football.
I'm not really surprised. What has been happening in the last few years between Mexico and the United States is truly developing a partnership relationship, and that's in commerce, it's in business, it's in sports, it's in entertainment, and this doesn't surprise me at all. It just shows the close ties we have.
I know you're from Oklahoma. Does that mean you have a favorite in this particular football game?
Well, as ambassador, I'm for the Texas team, but Barry Switzer is a friend of mine, and Bud Adams is an Oklahoman also.
The commissioner was on talking about coming back here next year. What does this game do for the American citizens who are down here working? How do they feel about it?
Well, we feel very good about it, but I think if the league is looking to expand, Mexico City and Mexico is a natural sports area, and I think it would be good for both countries.
Terrific. Mr. Ambassador, thank you for being here. Al?
All right, thank you, Lynn. And it is 2nd down and 10 for the Dallas Cowboys up at the 37-yard line. The Mudcake Oiler defense has done a stellar job tonight. The Cowboys have been going to this point as Mason swings to the outside and gets ridden down on a nice tackle by Lane Bishop.
Of course, neither one of these two teams all that eager to show each other a great deal here tonight. It's only going to be the 2nd week of the regular season that they play one another. The game will be at Azteca Stadium on Sunday, September 11th. So these two routinely play for the Governor's Trophy during the preseason, but seldom meet that early during the regular season. So I think both of these guys here are playing it pretty tight here today.
3rd down and 9 at the 38-yard line with 1:40 to play in the 3rd. Houston leading 6-0. Rodney Peete, the ex-USC Trojan, throws, and the pass is incomplete as a marker down. Willie Jackson was the intended receiver. Jerry Markbright will tell us about the call in a moment. Rodney Peete.
Illegal contact foul, number 30, defense, 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
That's Mike Davis.
But that's the 3rd one so far this game called on the Oilers secondary. The illegal contact foul again. You only get the 5 yards. Clearly beyond that. And again, that's the type of incidental contact away from the play that last year just wouldn't have gotten called. And an unhappy Jeff Fisher. The defensive people, Frank, think that they're just being singled out for being too good.
Well, Davis is a rookie out of Cincinnati, but he's probably been watching the man who plays ahead of him, Chris Dishman, and that's what Dishman's going to have a problem with this year.
That is not an automatic first down, though. It was 3rd and 9 and a 5-yard penalty, and so on 3rd down and 4, it's incomplete as Shelby Hill.
Well, all defensive backs are going to have that problem this year. You know, they play it tight, and they have become, you know, they've gone to Pro Bowl on those kinds of actions, and they're going to be calling it.
I'm sorry, I misread the penalty call there. That was a first down.
But realistically speaking, a year ago, away from the play, what would have been the odds of that being called? I think next to nothing. There's Bob Young in the shot there, my old teammate with the St. Louis Cardinals, who's done a great job as the offensive line coach of the Oilers.
Jeremy Nunley was the man being assisted from the field, the defensive end for the Oilers.
Yeah, he was their number 2 draft choice this year, the rookie out of Alabama, and hopefully this will not prove to be anything too serious. He's still got his one shoe on. There's Big Bob, one of the fine offensive linemen in Cardinal history, and he was a load. Went to a Pro Bowl when he was 36 years old.
He's slimmed down, hasn't he, Dan?
Hey, looks
pretty trim.
Well, he was by far and away the strongest guy on our team, and it wasn't even close. Nobody even wanted to be second.
3rd down and 8 is Rodney Peete. Looks one way and then the other, and that's incomplete. And again, the coverage was outstanding. Willie Jackson can't get free tonight, and the coverage provided by Tony Brown. And the fans, well, like fans everywhere, they may love their Cowboys, but they're running out of patience at this point.
One of the important things for the Dallas Cowboys, I think we've pretty much touched on everything about Barry Switzer being here, but is to get off to a fast start. Because when you get off to a fast start, nobody raises doubts. Nobody starts asking questions about how would Jimmy Johnson have done this. If Barry Switzer is able to get his team off to a good start in Pittsburgh, get off to a 2-0 start, then a lot of that stuff gets put on the back burner.
Jets kick is fair caught at the 21 by Gissendaner. And the Oilers will have it with 37 seconds remaining in the third quarter. It's still 6-0 Oilers.
I'm looking forward to the season like a slug looks forward to the rain. I'm talking about the NFL season. I'm talking about brawn and brain. Reggie White, Steve Young, Barry Foster, and players with much longer names. Yeah. I'm looking forward to the season, and especially the two-point conversion. I wrote that.
So, Dave, how was San Francisco?
It was great. Did you drive across the Golden Gate Bridge? No.
Did you see Alcatraz?
Is that there?
Well, what did you do?
I found this sourdough roll.
Introducing Wendy's Sourdough Bacon Cheeseburger. It's a San Francisco-style roll stuffed with a quarter-pound of fresh beef, Monterey Jack, bacon, and Dijon sauce.
Reminds me of when I was in San Francisco. I met this sailor.
Hey, look at the time. Gotta go.
Yes, well, we only went to the library.
You can find it in San Francisco and at any Wendy's.
Last week we were in Buffalo and we saw a sign that said Deardorff for mayor of Munnsville. I'm looking for a Deardorff for mayor of Veracruz tonight.
I don't think they know who any of us are down here. Monday Night Football may be shown in Mexico City, but is with Spanish-speaking announcers calling the action. But still, you know, we're talking about the quick start for Dallas. You know, it's not going to be that easy going on the road to play Pittsburgh, back home to play Houston, and then entertaining Detroit before an open date. That is not a soft open at all.
And it's never easy for the champion either, and you hit it right on the head. If they do not get off to a good start, all those questions will be right in Barry Switzer's face.
Well, the one good thing for Switzer is he at least has Emmitt Smith at the start of the season. Remember, Smith was holding out last year, and Jimmy Johnson did not get off to that good start because Emmitt wasn't there.
And it was really, they opened up at 0-2, and realistically speaking, when Dallas was fielding a regular team, that was the only two games they lost all year.
Right. They lose on Monday night to Washington. They lose to Buffalo, and then later the problems with Emmitt Smith and the hamstring. The other games they lost.
The only other game was the fluke game against Buffalo on Thanksgiving Day.
Miami.
Miami. And you take a look at it, in reality, when Dallas wanted to win a football game, they won it. That's how dominant they were in 1993.
Todd McNair, a new Oiler, just carried the ball as you look at a spectacular shot. Azteca Stadium, 112,376 by about 7,000, the most people ever to witness any National Football League game. As the third quarter comes to an end, Houston leads it 6-0 and will return to Mexico City after this word from our ABC station.
Next, it's the black tie event of the season.
You're like Engelbert Pumpernickel.
Mary Hart hosts a special one-hour celebration with Hayden Fox.
Does this look like a party to you, pal?
It's a coach extravaganza.
One for our side.
Next on ABC.
This fall, the adventure begins.
Watch out!
McKenna, coming soon to ABC.
Good evening, I'm Jackie Parks. A groundbreaking divorce case has landed a prominent Bakersfield doctor in jail. We'll tell you why he was taken from court in handcuffs tonight at 11.
This summer's forecast is still hot.
So chill out with a hot deal on a new Subaru from Family Motors. Beat the heat and head for the hills in the new Impreza Sports Sedan or Impreza Wagon. With room for so many, you'll need 2 picnic baskets. Or quench your thirst for excitement with the all-new Subaru SVX. With cars like these burning up the road, it's no wonder this summer's hot at Family Motors.
Come and see us at Family Motors, where we care about our community.
5300 Weibel Road in a Bakersfield Auto Mall.
Lights hard. It's all.
Fire leaves a local family homeless. The story at 11.
The Warriors.
That sort of night. Troy Aikman had an early departure tonight after playing about a quarter as the fourth quarter begins. Salisbury throws on the run, and it's incomplete up at the 47-yard line. The pass was intended for Mario Bailey on a 3rd and 4. Oh, we're very happy, of course, to be celebrating an anniversary, the 25th of Monday Night Football. And our final preseason game comes your way next week at 8 Eastern and 5 Pacific. Joe Montana and the Kansas City Chiefs host the Chicago Bears, and then it gets underway for real Labor Day night, the 5th of September, with a terrific matchup from Candlestick Park, the Raiders and the 49ers. 3rd and 4 from the 26-yard line. And this is Todd McNair, who has been playing with the Kansas City Chiefs and was very happy to get a chance to fly his wares someplace else, and just has signed on with Houston carrying the football.
McNair, a fine receiver out of the backfield, used that way by the Kansas City Chiefs so successfully over the years. He was a great 3rd down receiver for them coming out of the backfield, and might fit well into an Oiler attack.
Rich Camarillo punting. Clayton Holmes is back to receive the kick for the Cowboys. A 41-yard punt fielded on a bounce. Flag is down at the 50-yard line. I think there's they're throwing so many paper airplanes around that you can't tell whether it's a flag or a yellow paper airplane, but it is a flag this time. And it goes against the Cowboys.
Well, you mentioned the word warrior, Frank, a minute ago. On the right is Ray Childress. On the left, Lee Williams.
The kick was in the air. 10-yard penalty.
Two mainstays of the Oiler defensive line. Williams had a arthroscopic surgery on his knee back in April, and he'll be ready to go hopefully by the start of the season. Ray Childress there on the right, just a splendid football player. Not your prototypical defensive tackle in the way he's built, being so tall at 6'6", 272, but Warrior describes him perfectly. And there's a piece of artwork, model airplanes all over the place.
You thought I was kidding about those paper planes? I mean, they drop a flag, you have to look twice.
I didn't think you were kidding. They've been hitting us all day.
I know it. 1st and 10 at the 19-yard line. And Jason Garrett, the new quarterback, hits Mark Mason a little swing pass. Garrett, the second-year QB from Princeton, who did see some action last year after Aikman went down and before they got Bernie Kosar, the number 3 quarterback on the depth chart right now.
Making any type of a cut on this field has become an impossibility. Any receiver back or anything else that attempts to do so is going to do, as we've seen, flat on their back.
Jerry making an early visit to the field tonight. Kind of a one-way conversation, at least the part of it we saw, as Mark Mason takes the ball up to the 25-yard line. This is a monologue, folks. Barry's a great listener. I'll say that for him. This is classic.
Trying to read lips here.
They say that being a great listener is an art form, and it's a
necessary one.
You learn it with maturity and age. And
I'll bet you Jimmy Johnson got a big charge out of that scene. Jimmy, calm down. 3rd and 4 at the 25-yard line. Here's Garrett. It's tipped. And it is somewhere in there. Garrett winds up with the football.
Again, that conversation we just saw between Jones and Barry Switzer. This is the preseason. Safe to say, if this was the regular season, this wouldn't be going on.
Barry hopes.
I think it's safe to say.
So the Cowboys again stopped in their tracks, and John Jett to punt. Travis Hanna to receive it. Snap was offline, but no problem for Jett. Fair catch called for and made at the 44-yard line. 11:58 left in the fourth in Mexico City. 6-0, the Oilers leading the Cowboys.
Dodge Intrepid comes with this fancy bit of electronics that senses when you're carrying passengers and cargo. Knowing that, it can choose shift points to improve performance. But what's more, Intrepid actually learns how you drive by monitoring every mile. It even adjusts shift quality according to your driving habits. Imagine a car learning how to drive, and you're the teacher. Dodge Intrepid. This changes everything.
Give me an ice.
When we come in here, mister, in our baggy civilian shorts and our smart alecky tie-dye t-shirts, what do we order?
Bud Ice?
I can't hear you!
Bud Ice, sir!
And how many do we order?
2, sir!
Bud Ice. It's ice brewed and cold filtered to start cold and stay cold.
Now, something give me 20!
Fall in for the real cold of icy smooth Bud Ice and new 96-calorie Bud Ice Light.
It's prime time at Arrowhead. Joe Montana and the Chiefs host the Chicago Bears. It's an NFL preseason special next Monday night on ABC.
Little gourmet tour for you coming up. Octopus, anyone?
You try this out?
Not bad. I don't eat vegetables. That looks pretty good, though. I'll take the head.
I knew we'd get to a barbecue.
We don't have a telestrated on us.
This will be our only one of the year.
A little food montage down Mexico way.
The youngins are out tonight, too. A lot of kids here with their moms and dads. Right down to the toddlers.
First down for the Oilers in the 44-yard line. Catch is made as Bucky Richardson is in the game. The new quarterback, Travis Hanna, who's been running back kicks tonight, hauls it in Dallas territory at the 43-yard line.
Safe to say that Bucky's one of the more popular Oilers. Came up as an 8th-round pick out of Texas A&M in '92 and just kind of fought his way onto the football team. And now he's got a really good opportunity to be a backup quarterback to Cody Carlson. Has been the 3rd quarterback in the past, but he's played on special teams. He's done it all.
1st and 10 at the 43, and Bucky, flag comes in. Taken off, and that's what he does so well. To the 28-yard line.
If Bucky was a comedian, he would have gotten his start at the Improv, because that is his trademark. Now, sometimes it's to the chagrin of his coaches, because he improvises too quickly.
Holding number 60, offense.
You know, Dan, yourself.
Penalty. First down.
When that quarterback scrambles out of there, that's the first time. That's the easiest place to hold.
Exactly right. You don't know where he is.
Releases from you, and you have a tendency just to grab.
Well, the man you're blocking sees the quarterback, so there's a sudden change in direction that you're not ready for. There's number 60, Neal, on the left of your screen, and you can see he's got that left arm racked up pretty good. And well, he let him go eventually. That's not the greatest way to get on TV. But again, Richardson always seems to make something happen. He's a lot like a Brett Favre in the sense that some of it's good, some of it's bad.
1st and 20, tries to set up a screen and does so. And Todd McNair, who's run this play with the Kansas City Chiefs, looking good. Good stiff arm and an 18-yard came, but a marker back at the 50.
Now, we just talked about McNair's receiving abilities. Kansas City, he was the third down go-to man for about 3 or 4 years.
Ineligible man downfield. That screen was set up, and it took so long to set it up, and it was really on a second effort basis that he got it away, that somebody was downfield too early.
And that the linemen a lot of times go on timing rather than listening to their man yell go.
Eligible receiver downfield on the pass. On the offense, 5-yard penalty. First down.
It looked like...
Didn't McNair just come in? You know, I think he came in last week. He set up on the wrong side for that screen. That screen was set to the right. McNair set up to the left.
You could see one of the Oiler offensive linemen was a good 5 yards downfield by the time that pass was caught.
1st and 25 now with 10:28 to go. 4th quarter. Oilers 6, Cowboys nothing. Made by Keith Jack. Stretched down for it, couldn't hold it. 2nd and 25.
Jack was kind of the star of their game last week. He had 6 receptions, a touchdown. Their game against the Chargers, and that's pretty good for a free agent rookie who nobody really counted on to do much of anything. And pretty good effort here. Look at that. Ooh, just couldn't control it, but laid out for it. Boy, it's a struggle to get noticed when you're a rookie. There's so much talent, especially on this Oiler team offensively. It is work to catch a coach's eye.
Late in this game, in this kind of field, you're an outside receiver. You're just hanging on.
2nd and 25. And a little mini gain right here. You know, I'm looking at Jack Pardee. Jack is a very humble man, but there is a real overt sign of humility tonight. How many coaches do you know would wear a credential? Somehow, some way, I can't picture Vince Lombardi or Tom Landry or a lot of coaches putting on a credential.
Jerry Jones didn't have one on.
We're in Mexico City, Frank. We're not in Chicago, and we're not in Washington, D.C.
Well, I got to tell you, I was humbled, too. I went down to
wore
mine a while ago. I came back. They weren't going to let me in, and they were not going to let me in either.
Frank,
I tried to explain that I was important.
There aren't many press boxes in this country that you can't get in. Of course, in this country, we're not in this.
That's right, we're not in this.
That's my point.
It's 23. And it's Bucky Richardson scrambling and his frustration showing there.
Where are we anyway?
We ask that every week.
Salisbury.
With Carlson going over the
a few pointers.
Situation. Under 9 minutes to play.
Brand new offense for Salisbury. Something you don't pick up that quickly.
They run and shoot. Look at that field. Camarillo kicking out of a bog. And Clayton Holmes will let it float into the end zone. And we'll step aside with 8:39 remaining in the 4th quarter. It's the Oilers 6 and the Cowboys nothing.
If your bacon cheeseburger isn't flame broiled, fire it.
Welcome to Burger King.
And get a new flame broiled
Bacon Mega Supreme.
The new Bacon Mega Supreme is a 1/3 pound of beef broiled over an open flame. And flame broiling beats frying 4-to-1. 2 patties smothered in hot, crispy bacon, melted cheese, lettuce, and tomato. So if it's fried, it ought to be fire. Get the new flame broiled Bacon Mega Supreme. More great taste for more great value. Only at Burger King.
To make Dodge Intrepid more spacious, we moved the wheels that normally go here, out, and back to here. Up front, the wheels that were here were moved out to here. It's a concept called cab forward that yields astonishing room for people like me. While good things like wider doors, sports car handling, and superb aerodynamics came along for the ride. Dodge Intrepid. This changes everything.
She TV on Mrs. Beavis and Mrs. Butthead.
How'd our kids get like that?
Maybe it's their friends.
Maybe we live too close to the power lines.
She TV premieres Tuesday.
Well, our crack crew went out. They found this gorgeous church, and there's a little labor strike going on out front. and a guy in an Eric Dickerson jersey holding a ticket sign. Apropos of anything?
Well, Eric Dickerson, a household name here in Mexico City. Bet he wouldn't have needed a credential.
I'm saving everything for another shot of Jerry.
Cowboy cheerleaders making the trip south. They put on a show before the game, and the crowd relished every moment of it.
It was well received. Then the Houston Oilers, their cheerleaders came out, and they were received better than the team. They were applauded. The Oilers were booed roundly.
First down, Dallas to the 20-yard line. Garrett pump fakes. Garrett goes deep. Flag is thrown. The pass intended for Shelby Hill. Interference on Mike Davis.
Davis playing way off Hill. Hill with
pass
an out
interference.
move.
Number 30, defense. Automatic
And
first
no
down.
question about that. With the right elbow. And again, that might have been something that would have slipped by last year, but it will not this year.
24-yard penalty. Ball at the 44.
That was a pretty good effort by Davis to keep the receiver from getting back to the ball. But, that'll bring yellow anytime.
Hill in motion. Garrett. Garrett looking for that sideline, and it can't come soon enough as he's chased out of bounds by Lemansky Hall.
Jason Garrett, of course, is son of the Dallas Cowboys scout Jim Garrett. And a former Princeton running back. There he is. I knew him and was a little guy. Jim Garrett used to play with the Giants.
Judd Garrett, his brother, a reserve running back.
Quite an athletic family. And Jim's been in the NFL now for over 30 years. And many of those years as a scout with the Dallas Cowboys.
Second and 12. And another marker is down as Mark Mason picks up a couple through the middle. Jerry Markbright.
Offside, number 82, offense. 5-yard penalty, second down.
Caught a shot of Jeremy Nunley a moment ago, number 93, who was shaken up and has his leg bandaged.
As we mentioned, he's the second-round draft pick, and the Oilers really hurting on that defensive line with the loss of Sean Jones to Green Bay and Fuller to Philadelphia. They represented almost half the number of sacks Houston had last year. And they were looking for help defensively. They did pick up Kenny Davidson, a good defensive end, as an unrestricted free agent from Pittsburgh, but they were expecting big things from Nunley, their second-round draft pick.
Second down and 15 from the Cowboy 39. Garrett throws, and Corey Fleming makes the catch, and another flag is down. And now they say no catch after one official signaled he had it. The other said, I had a better view. He did not.
Procedure call against the Dallas Cowboys, and here in the fourth quarter, the play is becoming as sloppy as the field is. We're hard-pressed to run more than 2 plays at a time without some sort of an infraction.
Well, you know about preseason
foul. Offense. Penalty is declined. The right guard and right tackle were not on the line of scrimmage.
There's so many different combinations the two coaches go with this late in the game, and the field, of course, is one of the major contributing factor to the timing, which is obviously being thrown off. They're probably not using the plays they came in to use. Maybe even not the personnel they came in to use. We know that's the case with Emmett Smith and probably many other players.
Well, the Cowboys, some of their offensive linemen were called for being too far off the ball.
Third and the length of the pig pen to go. It's 17, and that's going to be grounding.
And there's another flag.
Yep. Lamar Lathan was going to get the sack, and Garrett just got rid of the ball, and they're going to lose the yardage in the down as well.
That's what they wanted from Lamar Lathan when they moved him to defensive end, to use the speed. He's not all that big, but he is quick.
One thing about this crowd, you look around, nobody's left.
Intentional grounding, number 17 offense. Loss of down, 4th down.
Glad you pointed that out, Dan. I was thinking about that. How do we get out of here?
Look at this crowd. Well, maybe we are down. Maybe we're down to the original 108,000 they announced instead of the
we might be
112,000. 112,376.
Great move there by Lathan.
Jet kicks. And there's a marker down again at the 31-yard line. The ball is fair caught.
Actually, the Oilers are doing this with 2 linebackers. Keith McCants, a guy that came out of Alabama as a linebacker, is also trying to be converted into a defensive end. Keep in mind, you have 2 of the really high draft choices back in 1990, and Lamar Lathan and Keith McCants, who are attempting to make that transition to defensive end. McCants was the #1 draft choice of Tampa Bay.
4th player taken in the draft.
Yeah,
Illegal formation foul on the kicking team. 6 men on the line of scrimmage. 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
Toughest part for Lamar is only being in the mid-250s. It's going to be tough for him to lock up with those big offensive linemen. There's Keith McCants right there. His day's work is over with. Boy, remember we had him in the Sugar Bowl when we had Alabama. What a tremendous college linebacker he was. And Lamar Lathan, who seems to be further along in his development.
Much lighter, though, than McCants. McCants struggled last year with Atlanta, getting really a 3rd shot.
That was the 6th flag on this Cowboy possession. One was the clock. They've got a high snap. Jet does a nice job to come down with it and get a good kick away, and that one is fair.
But now you'll have ineligible men downfield because it took extra time to get the kick away.
There's your 7th flag. Darryl Johnston actually snapped that ball. Luke does everything.
Yeah, that's unavoidable when the ball is that high and it takes the kicker that long to field it.
Ineligible man downfield on the kick, number 91. Kicking team.
There is
5-yard penalty, 4th down.
Captain of the Dallas special teams, and we used that term warrior earlier. Check this out. Pretty good one-handed stab. That's where a punter earns his money, when he's able to get one away like that. That's I think maybe Jet might have a future as a receiver.
Meanwhile, how about Darryl Johnston, Moose, snapping here? Their main snapper is Dale Hellestray, but they've got Johnston, the highest paid fullback in the league right now, snapping.
He just delivered one of the highest snaps in the league.
That one's a lot better. And after 7 flags on one possession, none at the moment. This one is taken at the 35-yard line, and Lee Gissendaner almost broke it. 15-yard return, no flag. Houston has it at the 50-yard line. 50-yard goes 16-yard run back. 7 minutes to play.
Before you order a plain old bottle draft,
Give me a draft.
goes beyond cold filtering.
Bud Ice Draft.
It's ice brewed and cold filtered to start cold and stay cold. So get real cold.
Give me a draft.
With icy smooth Bud Ice and new 96-calorie Bud Ice Light.
The mid-size Dodge Dakota Sport V6 gives you a bigger bed than Ford Ranger or Chevy S10. It gives you a Magnum engine with more horsepower than their base V6s, the safety of available four-wheel anti-lock brakes, and a standard driver's airbag, something Ranger and S10 don't even offer. So really, the only thing compact about Dakota is the price. Dodge Dakota. A little bigger, a lot better.
Get ready for a high-flying, rim-rattling showdown. The kings of the court will be crowned at the National Summer Basketball Championship Sunday on ABC.
That's a fabulous mural inside the presidential palace here. It takes you through the centuries in Mexican history, the pre-Hispanic era to the Spanish takeover to the Constitutional War, the French invasion, the Mexican Revolution. And it was started by Diego Rivera. He began it in 1938 and finished that mural in 1952, and it is spectacular. As is Azteca Stadium on this very pleasant mid-August evening before a crowd of 112,376. The Houston Oilers leading the Dallas Cowboys 6-0.
Well, it would be an absolutely perfect night had we not had that rain just before the kickoff that absolutely ruined this football field.
And created a situation where Emmitt Smith did not see any action tonight and has not played in preseason. As the Oilers take it at the 50-yard line, and Sean Jackson picks up a couple, and let's get an update from Lynn.
Al, you know, we talked about the field and the condition, but we didn't talk about the altitude. Mexico City being some 7,300 feet above sea level. The players came in. Bruce Matthews told me before the game that he felt the altitude before the game even began. And we've seen throughout the ball game a lot of the players just bending over, trying to get their win. This altitude has taken a lot out of them, even though they came into this ball game in pretty good condition.
Second down and 8. They're lucky that it's not bad. It's on the cooler side right now, as again the ball carrier is number 41, Sean Jackson. And also the quality of air in Mexico City, notoriously bad, actually pretty good today.
Well, we had that huge rainstorm yesterday afternoon, and that did a pretty effective job of cleansing the air, and it was relatively clear here today. So you're right, I don't think that they had to deal with that, on top of the fact that there's not a lot of oxygen in the breathable air here.
You know, we always talk about the altitude in Denver. We're a couple of thousand feet higher than that. I ski a lot in the Rockies, and I can tell you it does make a major difference when you get up over 6,000 or 7,000 feet.
First down and 10. And again, it is Sean Jackson. And again, a flag is down at the 41-yard line.
You know, last week, let me clear him a little business. We were speculating.
Number 62, offense, 10-yard penalty. First down.
As to the whereabouts of Jimmy Rogers, the singer.
We were.
I found out, by the way, that he's alive and well, living in Branson, Missouri. He's a musical director for a company called Patch Entertainment, and we openly wondered what happened to Jimmy last week. He's about 60, doing well, and we send our best wishes.
What a guy you are, helping his career along.
Hey, I don't think he needs my help.
You've resurrected him.
Kisses sweeter than wine.
Yeah.
Honeycomb, and a bunch of others.
On first and 20, the catch is made on the far side by Demon Mays, number 13. Problem is, we've all lived so long, you can't remember who's dead or alive anymore.
No. Jimmy is not.
Tim McCarver and Jim Palmer and I doing a baseball game about 2 weeks ago. We're wondering whether Spike Jones was dead or alive. We find out like 5 minutes later. Not only is he dead, he's been dead for 29 years.
Well, he was dead for so long you thought he was alive.
That's right.
That's what happens.
Second and 17 in the quagmire that Azteca Stadium has become. And it's incomplete, even though contact was made. Keith Jack, the intended receiver, by the time contact was made, the ball had passed him.
We have our ABC crew. One of our guys, our associate director, is Jaime Bravo, and Jaime was born here in Mexico City, and his father, we have come to find out, was a very famous bullfighter here in Mexico.
Really?
Back during the 50s and the 60s. His father was named Jaime as well, and his mother, actress Ann Robinson, met his father at a bullfight in Tijuana. So a homecoming here for our AD, Jaime Bravo. Ole!
Bravo! Third and 17. And Richardson throws. Good catch is made. Yep, the catch is made at the 23-yard line. the way the defensive back was reacting as Mario Bailey pulled it in, you'd have sworn that he knocked it loose. Alfie Birch was very excited about what he had done. And in fact, what he had done is what he thought he'd done. They're ruling it incomplete.
We talked about James Washington maybe inspiring the hitting on this defensive secondary of the Cowboys, and you saw a good example of it right there.
This has become an extremely physical group. And you're right, Washington is the leader of that type of hitting. Birch, a free agent, a rookie from Michigan. Again, it's all about catching a coach's eye.
Receiver didn't have possession with both feet on the ground, therefore an incomplete pass instead of a completion and a fumble out of bounds, and that is a bad-looking punt.
But no flag. First one in out of 4 or 5 that we have not seen a penalty flag. Special teams very difficult to get together in the early preseason. Trying a lot of people in different roles.
Camarillo's punt, 14 yards, 4:17 remaining in the fourth quarter. This crowd,
they're sitting there thinking, can you believe the Dallas Cowboys are getting shut out?
Yeah, their team.
And this is a 6-0 ball game.
And they haven't seen a touchdown. From the 32-yard line, catch is made by Shelby Hill.
Kids are kids, no matter where.
Shelby Hill is the son of the former NFL player, J.D. Hill. Free agent out of Syracuse, trying to make this ball club.
It is 2nd down and 1 from the 41. And they give it to the up back, the fullback. The first man through is Tony Richardson. Keith Jack on the Houston sideline. Clock showing that much time remaining and ticking down in Mexico City, where we get some drizzle again. I love those green rain jackets. What do you call them? Ponchos?
Ponchos.
They look like big trash bags.
From the 43-yard line. Catch is made. Here's Hill, and he gets dragged down at the 43. And this would really be a dream ending for this crowd if the Dallas Cowboys could somehow pull this one out at the end. Good beginning of this drive. First down at the 42 of Houston.
Hill's got some speed. Got some size, too. 6-footer. About 200 pounds. Now the clocking at Syracuse. 4-2-3. Go to 40.
That's picking him up and laying him down.
Flying.
Here's Garrett going deep. He's got Hill, and Hill loses the football. I think they're going to call it a complete advance and a Houston recovery. Crowd is loving every moment of it, but I think Houston's going to wind up with the football, and they are.
The 2 officials were right on top of it, and I don't think there's going to be any question. Shelby Hill could have been hero 1.
Well, he was separated from the ball by a titanic hit. Emmanuel Martin tattooed Shelby Hill, and that's what drops him off. What a beautifully thrown ball by Jason Garrett. You can't drop it in any better than this.
Right on stride.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, he's got it.
But he never got a chance to pull it back into his body, and Martin comes over and separates him from the ball. Shelby Hill just didn't get a chance to get it back up to his body where he could protect the football.
And Tony Brown was there to recover it. Number 22 will come into the picture as Hill can't hold it. And Tony Brown winds up with the football, and Houston has it at the 1-yard line. And Richardson gives them some breathing space, takes it out to the 3. Cowboys have not indicated they want to take a timeout here, which wouldn't be a bad idea.
Well, this is preseason. Regular season, you would have seen a timeout.
Well, now, let's see. Well, one clock says 2 minutes, and one clock says 2:02. We're going to assume It's the 2-minute warning. 6-0 Houston.
We can't resist comparing Dodge Dakota Club Cab to Ford Ranger and Chevy S10. After all, the mid-size Dakota has a roomier cab, a bigger bed, more towing capacity, and more standard horsepower. But one thing you won't see is a comparison of available V8 engines, because with Ranger and S10, you can't get one. Dodge Dakota, a little bigger, a lot better.
In the heat of desire, passion can turn to suspicion. Love can turn to deception. Nothing is what it seems when day turns to night. Bruce Willis, Color of Night, rated R. Starts Friday, August 19th.
And the serpent, the statue of Aztecs, at the site of the discovery of Mexico City by the Aztecs, is seen in a vision. A beautiful monument depicting that event. And we hope you've enjoyed the shots we've given you and the scenics we've provided of historic Ciudad de Mexico, District Federal, where tonight the biggest crowd ever to watch an NFL game. We'll watch the last 2 minutes of the game with Houston backed up, deep in its own territory. 2nd down and 7 from the 4. And Jerry Markwright says momentarily.
Full start. Prior to the snap, number 42, offense. Half the distance to the goal. 2nd down.
Tommy Stowers.
Well, the type of situation where if by chance the Houston Oilers wouldn't get out of here, and if they don't advance another 5 or 6 yards, if this was a regular season game, would it be wise for them to take a safety? They need some positive yardage here.
Sean Jackson out to the 4-yard line. It's commenting while we were away at a commercial, the first cut for the NFL will not be until a week from Tuesday. Timeout called by Dallas here. Kevin Gilbride ready to send in the next play.
If they don't get a lot of yardage, if they don't get another, not just a first down, but if they don't advance the ball up somewhere close to the 10-yard line to give them enough room to punt the ball out of there, it wouldn't be the end of the world for the Oilers to go ahead and take the safety, make it a 6-2 ball game, and then kick the ball away with a free kick from the 20-yard line, still realizing that it takes a Dallas touchdown for them to win the ball game.
Well, we want to send a special thanks along to our crew doing such a great job coming across the border and going through the custom situation that you have to go through every time you transport equipment and do a lot of different things. And Televiso, the Mexican network, providing so much of the assistance for our core crew, producer Kenny Wolf and director Craig Janoff. Our crack team, Steve Hurd, traveling with us as always. Jorge Hill on the stats, and Mazatlan Kelly Hayes, our spotter supreme, working as always. 3rd down and 7 from the 4-yard line. And the catch is, the Cowboys say no, the officials say yes. Yes, so far at the 19-yard line. It's caught by Mario Bailey.
What a play by the Buckster.
There goes your safety.
How about Bucky back in the end zone, reversing direction and
off
throwing
balance.
that thing off balance. right into the middle of the Dallas traffic.
What an effort that is. And that ball has something on it.
That's a very creative play by Bucky. A good catch and a good call by the officials awarding the reception.
He does make things happen.
Yeah.
I'd love to tell you what they're chanting, but I don't have a clue right now. You know, we travel around enough, and you know all of the chants in every stadium. I think that one escaped us.
Nobody has left yet. It's time to leave, people.
They were chanting, "What's on Wide World of Sports" this Saturday.
And here's the answer. Saturday, you'll see the Hilton Gymnastics Challenge. And also the Travers Stakes from Saratoga is one of the great races of the summer season. I believe Holy Bull and Tabasco Cat are going to have at it.
Now you don't have baseball out. You might wander up there and give us a horse race.
Oh, I may go to OTB anyway, if nothing else. Baseball strike continues. Nothing further to report on that. And the preseason moves along for the NFL. We'll be in Kansas City next Monday. And then on Labor Day night, we begin the regular season with the Raiders visiting the 49ers.
And that cut we were speaking of a moment ago will be the 60. Next Tuesday, time running out for a lot of would-be NFLers.
Oilers have it up at the 19-yard line. And they go into their prevent offense here. As they'll do what they can to run down the clock to the dismay of
112,000 people are not going to like this.
Jack O'Hara is our executive producer, and as we mentioned, Ken Wolf, so brilliantly producing tonight's game, directed by Craig Janoff. Joe Chavo, our TD. We talked about Jaime Bravo before, our AD, Bob Simon, our production manager, and all of the rest of the gang who've enjoyed the stay in Mexico City, part of history, with 112,376 watching NFL action. We want to thank Northwest Mobile for providing the truck. And Emmitt Smith and the Cowboys will truck on home to Dallas. So the crowd disappointed in one sense. The Cowboys, their favorites, were a loser, but in another way, it was very much a celebration here in Mexico tonight. The biggest crowd ever to witness an NFL game looking on, and the Oilers and the Cowboys wind up with Houston winning it by a score of 6-0. Next week we'll be in Kansas City. The Chiefs hosting the Chicago Bears. Until then, Al Michaels, Frank Gifford, Dan Deirdre, Lynn Swan. Adios from Mexico.